What if America's closest allies and partners suddenly walked away? The global superpower we know today depends on strong ties with key nations across the world. But if these relationships collapse, the impact could be devastating. In this video, we'll explore 10 countries that have the power to shake the very foundation of the United States simply by stepping back. You won't believe how much the U.S. relies on them. Number 10. Brazil. Brazil is the most influential country in South America and a key player in regional politics. Though often underestimated, Brazil's cooperation is vital for the U.S. to maintain a strong presence in Latin America. If Brazil were to walk away from its relationship with the United States, it could accelerate a regional shift away from American influence. Such a move could strengthen alternative global alliances, inviting greater involvement from rival powers like China and Russia. Economically, the loss of Brazilian markets and resources would hurt U.S. agriculture, energy, and manufacturing sectors. Politically, the U.S. would find itself isolated in a hemisphere it once dominated, signaling a decline in its global leadership. Number 9. India. India has emerged as a vital partner in America's strategy to counterbalance rising powers in Asia. As one of the world's largest democracies and a rapidly growing economy, India's cooperation provides the United States with both moral legitimacy and strategic depth. If India were to shift its alliances and distance itself from Washington, it would have major consequences. The balance of power in Asia would tilt, giving adversaries more room to assert their influence. Economically, the U.S. would lose access to a dynamic market and a crucial source of skilled labor and innovation. Geopolitically, India's departure could fracture the emerging alliances designed to promote a free and open Indo-Pacific, weakening America's position globally. Number 8. Mexico. Mexico's role in the U.S. economy and security is far more significant than many realize. As a neighbor and major trade partner, Mexico is intricately linked with American supply chains, labor markets, and energy infrastructure. Should Mexico walk away from its relationship with the United States, the disruptions would be immediate and far-reaching. Border security would become exponentially more difficult to manage, affecting immigration control and counter-narcotic efforts. Economically, industries dependent on cross-border trade and labor would be destabilized. A breakdown in cooperation could also lead to increased tensions and instability along the southern border, challenging the U.S. domestically and diplomatically. Number 7. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has been America's closest ally for generations, bonded by language, history, and shared values. From joint military operations to diplomatic cooperation, the UK has often stood shoulder to shoulder with the US on the world stage. If Britain decided to step away from this partnership, the implications would be deeply symbolic and strategically damaging. The United States would lose a critical partner in intelligence sharing, nuclear deterrence, and global diplomacy. British withdrawal from cooperation would signal a shift in Western unity, potentially encouraging other allies to follow suit. Without London's support, America's moral authority and strategic coordination within Europe and beyond would be considerably weakened. Number 6. South Korea. South Korea is more than just a military ally, it's a technological powerhouse and a key player in East Asian stability. Its alliance with the United States has been central to deterring aggression from North Korea and maintaining peace in the region. If South Korea were to walk away, the strategic repercussions would be immense. The U.S. would lose crucial military bases that serve as forward operating locations in Asia. Furthermore, the economic ties, especially in tech, semiconductors, and communications, would be strained, potentially pushing South Korea closer to China or Russia. This would not only alter regional dynamics but also weaken America's leverage in one of the world's most contested areas. Number 5. Canada. Often overlooked due to its peaceful image, Canada is one of the United States' most important partners. The two countries share the longest undefended border in the world and have deep economic, cultural, and security ties. If Canada were to cut ties with the U.S., it would have profound implications. Economically, cross-border trade would be severely disrupted, affecting industries on both sides. Politically, the loss of Canada would strip the U.S. of a key ally in North America and weaken its influence in the Western Hemisphere. Additionally, cooperation on issues like intelligence, security, and environmental policy would suffer dramatically. Canada's withdrawal would signal to the world that America's closest allies are no longer standing by its side. Number 4. Japan. Japan has long been a dependable ally of the United States in Asia, serving as a bulwark against rising threats in the region. From military bases to technological partnerships, the ties between the two nations are deeply entrenched. If Japan were to walk away from the alliance, it would leave a massive void in America's Indo-Pacific strategy. The U.S. would lose a critical strategic location and find itself outmaneuvered by regional powers seeking to challenge its influence. Japan's departure would also reverberate through global markets, particularly in technology and automotive industries, where Japanese firms are dominant. The loss of cooperation could embolden adversarial nations and destabilize an already volatile region. Number 3. Germany. As the economic and political engine of Europe, Germany plays a crucial role in sustaining the transatlantic alliance. Its leadership in the European Union and strong commitment to NATO have helped preserve global stability since the end of the Cold War. If Germany were to pivot away from the US, the entire European alliance could unravel. Such a move would weaken NATO's cohesion and signal the decline of American leadership in Europe. Germany's departure from cooperation would also open the door for alternative powers to gain influence in the region. Without Berlin's partnership, the U.S. would struggle to maintain its presence and authority across Europe, putting long-standing security arrangements and economic partnerships at risk. Number 2. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is not just an oil-rich ally, it is a cornerstone of America's influence in the Middle East. The two countries have long maintained a strategic partnership built on energy security and regional stability. Should Saudi Arabia walk away from its relationship with the United States, it could radically reshape the geopolitical landscape. Without Saudi support, the U.S. would find it more difficult to navigate the complex politics of the Gulf. Furthermore, the kingdom could deepen its ties with rival powers such as China or Russia, isolating the U.S. from key economic and military interests in the region. The fallout could destabilize global oil markets and undermine America's energy security, sending shockwaves through global economies. Number 1. China. China stands as one of the most critical partners and competitors of the United States. The intricate economic ties between the two nations make their relationship both strategic and fragile. If China were to sever economic relations or shift alliances entirely, it could trigger a dramatic chain reaction. The U.S. heavily relies on Chinese manufacturing for countless consumer goods, electronics, and essential components that fuel its industries. A sudden disengagement would disrupt global supply chains, spike costs, and leave American businesses scrambling to find alternatives. Beyond economics, China's growing influence in Asia, Africa, and Latin America could mean the U.S. loses strategic footholds around the world. Beijing's departure from cooperation could embolden adversaries and tilt the global balance of power away from Washington. These 10 countries hold immense power over America's future, not because they seek to confront it, but because their cooperation sustains the global influence, economic stability, and military reach that the United States depends on. A strategic withdrawal by any of them would create ripples far beyond their borders, shaking the foundations of America's role as a world leader. In an increasingly interconnected world, alliances are no longer optional, they are the lifelines of global power. The United States cannot afford to take its closest partnerships for granted, for if these nations walk away, the repercussions could be nothing short of devastating.